These next several parts have to do with percent, and so I wanted to review a couple things. The percent equation in the next slide, the next question asks about the percent proportion. The percent equation simply is, and this is something you need to know, percent times the whole equals the part. And a lot of our word problems fall under this, where we can find the percent, the whole, and the part. We can figure out which is which and then find the one we're missing. And so percent times whole equals part. We'll probably see that later on, and I might mix it up between using the percent equation and the proportion one here. But know both of them because they both can be helpful. In this one, make sure you change percent into a decimal form. And in the end of these questions, if you're finding the percent, you want to make sure you change a decimal to a percentage. The next one is the percent proportion, and so a proportion is a fraction equal to a fraction, and we know that part over the whole equals the percent over 100. Now, quick reminder for both of these, the whole, when you're looking for the whole, that's after the word of. And the part is around. I can't say it's after all the time because it depends how it's worded, but around the word is. And so when you see of, you think whole. And even in some of the word problems, they might not be written like that, but you can reform a sentence or write your own sentence where you can figure out which is which. So here's an example. What percent of 27 is 15? Well, here's an example where we see of 27, so that of is there, that's the whole. And then I said around is, so there's two numbers around is here, but we know that the 27 came after of, so is, this is our part. And so we can either do the percent equation or the percent proportion, and maybe I'll do both of them here just to see what they look like. So we know that percent times whole is equal to the part times whole. And we know two of the three of these. We're trying to find the percent. This is our question mark here. We don't know that. So percent, we'll make that x, times whole, which is 27, is equal to the part, which is 15. And now we're just solving an equation. We would divide both sides by 27 to solve this, because x is being multiplied by 27. And we get x equals, and this reduces some. We're going to want to divide it, but if you don't have a calculator, it's sometimes easier to reduce. So we'll say this is, reduce both of these by 3, and we get 5/9. And then you could realize, or do the division, and you're going to get 0.5 continuing. Well, we want to write this as a percent, so we can think, okay, well, this is 0.5555, and we could go for a while, and then move the decimal over twice. I've been having you round to the nearest tenth, so this is 55 point. So we're moving this over twice. We want to round this. We're going to round it up, so 55.6%. That's rounded to the nearest tenth. So 15 is 55.6% of 27, which does make sense because we know 15 is if 50% of 30, if this were 30, so it's a little bit more than 50% of 27. If we want to see that using the percent proportion, we know that part over whole, so 15 over 27, is equal to percent over 100. We're looking for that. And again, we can reduce here first. So anytime you can reduce, that makes the numbers a little smaller to work with. So 3 goes into that, and so we get 9x. That's cross multiplying equals 500. Divide both sides by 9, and you'll get 55.5 continuing, and we're going to write that as 55.6%. Quick notice when you use the percent equation, so on the left side here, you change your number to a percent. When you use the percent proportion, as we did on this right side, it's already in a percentage. You don't have to move the decimal over. Looking at the next one, what number is 6% of 125? Well, we know percent, I'm going to abbreviate here, times whole equals part. And we know our 6% here, well, that's 0.06. We want to change that to a decimal. Times the whole. Well, we have a number here of 125, so when we see the of, that we know that means the whole, equals the part. And then you're just going to multiply those. So if you have a calculator, that's great. I think I might have one on here. And so we can go ahead and multiply 0.06 times 125, which gives you 7.5. So our part here is 7.5. Could have used the percent proportion also. Next one, 30% of what number is 12? Well, let's go ahead and use the percent proportion. So we're going to have a proportion here, and we want part over whole equals percent over 100. Well, we see our percent is 30, so 30 over 100. Over here is 12. Well, we have a couple things here. We have of what number, so that means we see that of, we're looking for the whole, so that's going to be, we'll put n here. So part over whole, 12 over n equals 30 over 100. We can reduce over here, reduce by 10. And then we could cross multiply and solve. So we get 3n, so that's cross multiplying, equals 120. Dividing both sides by 3, you get 40 when you do that division. So the whole is 40. Here's a percent change problem. It says if the original amount was 38 and the new amount is 57, what is the percent change? Well, we learned that percent change is equal to the change over the original, and then it says times 100%, which really we talked about. That really just means changing your answer to a percentage. So percent change is the change over the original, and then we're going to change it to a percentage. So we'll go ahead and put an equal sign here because we're trying to find the percent change. Well, what is the change? It went from 38 to 57, so it increased, and the way that we find how much that increase was is we're going to subtract to find that change. So 57 minus 38 is 19, so we're going to say the change over the original times 100%. Well, 19 divided by 38, if you figure that out, you get half, or 0.5. And this times 100% again means you're changing it to a percentage, so we'll move the decimal over twice. And so it was actually a 50% change, and even more specifically, it was a 50% increase, because it went up from 38 all the way up to 57. So a 50% increase.